We've all had messages from brands asking us to be a brand ambassador, and I'm sure you're aware that many of them are dodgy, but some of them do get under the radar and a lot of people do fall for this scam. Some are scams and some fall into a bit of a different category, and I'll let you decide what you think about those kind of brands. I'm going to show some examples. Let me know in the comments below if you've been scammed by any brands like these. Hey, yes, I am editing in my pajamas. I just want to clarify that all of the brands that I work with are totally legitimate. They're definitely not a scam. They all pay me to post content and they value me as a person. None of this video applies to any of the brands that I've worked with. I vet the brands that I work with, and I only work with brands that I truly believe in and pay me fairly for my work and that I would recommend anyway, regardless of payment. It is absolutely rife within the fitness industry, and if you're a creator on Instagram that has anywhere between a couple of hundred to a couple of thousand followers, you will start getting messages like this from brands. And I have so much compassion for anybody that falls for this, because they're getting better and better and it's so easy to fall for them because they do look like legitimate brands and they work really hard to make themselves look like legitimate brands. But a lot of them are buying very cheap products and then massively marking them up. The difference between these kind of scams and actually working with brands as a content creator is that as a content creator you probably get offered a contract. They'll pay you either for one video or for a series of content across a couple of months where you get a retainer for those months. Or in some other cases where you're working with smaller brands, they might give you free product in exchange for the content. And that's one of the scenarios where you've got to work out whether your work as a content creator is worth that free piece of clothing or free bit of gym kit. And then there's this other type of brand ambassador kind of scam. What these brands offer is they offer you a percentage off their product. So you still have to buy them, but maybe you get between 30 to 50% off. And then you're also given a discount code. And this gives you the feeling of exclusivity. You've been chosen by this brand and that makes you feel good. Especially if you're an aspiring fitness content creator, it makes you feel more legitimate and like people are finally taking you seriously. And I'm sure early on when I was doing Instagram, I probably fell for one or two of these. I know I did a lot of free product stuff. It's really easy to fall for. When brands are asking you to pay for products, you are more like the customer. So I get contacted by this brand literally every week and they're called Be Fit Amazing and they contact me through TikTok. They don't even do my sizes, so I don't know why they contact me. All the time they're trying to ask me to be a brand ambassador. I had a quick look at their page. Here are a couple of the red flags. Most of their photos are made up of people wearing their clothing, people that would be their ambassadors. They haven't got a lot of product photo shoots. They're just using material sourced from people that are taking photos in their activewear. And if you go into their tags, you can see the profiles of the people that are wearing the activewear. You can tell a lot of them have a couple of hundred to a couple of thousand followers. The biggest I found was around 2,000 to 5,000 followers and the smallest was about 200 followers. They're probably messaging a lot of people and taking on board as many of them as they can. Now the reason why they do this is because in many cases, and we see this a lot with jewelry brands and sunglasses as well, is they're buying stuff from AliExpress, which is a wholesale marketplace where everything is really marked down, and they're marking it up and selling it to their ambassadors and their audience. With this Be Fit Amazing brand, I was able to find one of their sports bras on AliExpress for 96 cents, but their sports bras on their website go for $84. So that is a big markup. If they're giving their ambassadors a percentage off, say even as much as 50%, they're still charging $40, and that means they're making a substantial profit of about $39. So as you can see, the ambassador is actually the customer. And if that ambassador manages to even make a couple of sales with some of their followers, they've tripled or quadrupled that purchase so that more people have bought that. As you can see, it's really lucrative and they're making a lot of money off of things that are really cheaply made. What I find really scary is some of these brands that are doing this kind of scammy behaviour are supplement brands and protein brands. And that makes me question, where are they getting protein powder cheap enough to flog like this? Are they just buying like unmarked wholesale protein and then slapping their logo on it? It makes you really question the kind of goings on in that area. And even in some cases where these brands will offer you free product, they're still asking you to pay for shipping, and often the shipping is actually covering the cost of that product. There seems to be a lot of sunglasses brands, and this one a follower sent me called Volcrom Optics. It actually looks like a really legitimate legitimate page, and it's got some really good product photography. But we can see in the second line of the description it says message Volcom ambassador to join the family. So again, in this scenario we can see they're really advertising their ambassador program, which means their ambassadors are their main or certainly part of their customer base. If we go into their tag section, there are a lot of people that have links to share to get a discount on these glasses, and their pages are very small, some as small as 70 followers or 127 followers. These people have been sold the idea that they're going to make money off it, that they have been handpicked and chosen to represent this brand, and they've been made to feel special. Whereas this brand, by the looks of things, is accepting anybody and everybody. Oh my god, whilst editing this, I realised that I have a pair of sunglasses that look exactly like that, and these ones actually do have, should I put them on? These ones actually do have like a brand on them, but they are probably from AliExpress, and then they've branded them, just put them on their stall as like a markup. I actually bought them at CrossFit Games because I lost my sunglasses. This is something like, it's totally legitimate, and lots of brands do it. They'll buy extra things to just put on their stand, and that's totally okay. But I thought it was really funny that I basically have the same sunglasses, which must mean that they are on AliExpress somewhere. Or if it's not AliExpress, they're some form of wholesale sunglasses that brands can buy without like changing them. So, you know, like Cara Saunders' brand, her sunglasses will be legitimately made and designed by her and her team, whereas you can buy wholesale clothing that's not actually designed by the brand at all, but then the brand put their logo on it and then sell it. In many of these cases, these brands have a huge amount of followers, but what I've discovered by looking at them is they're either fake followers or they are followers that are doing the same kind of scam. So there are other sunglasses companies or jewelry companies, other companies that are basically using like AliExpress products and then selling them through an ambassador scheme. In a lot but not all of these cases, the pages are full with photos that are taken from the ambassadors or stock photos that have been produced by AliExpress, so they look like very basic product photos. And if you click into tags, you can see that most of the people posting that have tagged them don't have a ton of engagement, they don't have large platforms, and they are unlikely to be people that have been paid for this partnership. Then there is this other section, and I'm not going to name the brands in this one because they are not necessarily a scam, but it is a way that a lot of brands do operate. And this is definitely true for some supplement protein brands that I've found, and especially ones that have contacted me. There are some clothing brands that work in a very similar way, and that is again using the ambassadors as their main target customer and also somebody to help grow the brand. But they typically have a large amount of ambassadors and they advertise their ambassador program a lot, and their ambassadors still typically have to pay for product. In true sponsorship relationships, the brand usually pays the creator to create the content and values the time and work that goes into that, or they give them free product and then it's up to the creator to recognise whether the free product is worth their time and effort. Now this second type, they do seem like more legitimate companies, so they've taken time to create the clothing. The clothing is more branded and it isn't just taken off somewhere like AliExpress. The protein companies, they've definitely got really good branding. They might have stands at events. They are in so many ways very legitimate brands, and they are legitimate brands, but they are still targeting ambassadors, and ambassadors are probably making them a large portion of their income. And again, you can work this out in the same way by going into the tag section and seeing the kind of size of the pages of the people tagging them and saying use my code. These more legitimate brands seem to have quite an enthusiastic customer base, and their ambassadors have more like 1,000 to 5,000 followers, or maybe even up into the 40,000 area of followers. And this is also because what they're doing could be considered an affiliate program. And affiliate marketing is legitimate. I am part of several affiliate programs for brands that I have been using for years, and I generally choose to work with affiliates that I already love and use. And it's because people will already ask about the stuff that I'm using, so I might as well send them a link. I get a little kickback out of that, and my audience also get a discount. That's a legitimate way to make money, and that is also a way these slightly more legitimate brands do make money. And to an aspiring content creator, that seems like a great deal, especially if you already love the product, which is why I think there's nothing wrong with going with the second type of brand ambassador role. As long as you're fully aware that as an ambassador, if you're paying for product, then you are part of their customer base. But if you can make the money back through their affiliate program, or if you can make some money out of it, then it might be worth it. Another way you can spot the more scammy brands from the more legitimate brands is the scammy brands tend to have multiple accounts. So if you block one of them, they'll still keep messaging you. And that's what I'm finding with this BeFit Amazing company, is I can block several of their accounts and more of them will just keep messaging me. The reason they have so many accounts is because they get blocked, but also because they might get taken down by the platform. My advice is that if you get approached by someone asking you to be a brand ambassador, make sure it's a company that you would already pay for their product. You can do what I've done and look into the products they're selling and how much they are and whether they do turn up on AliExpress. For instance, the sports bra one, I just had to put asymmetric sports bra in and it was literally the first one that came up. You can also tell if their clothing range is quite disjointed. Legitimate clothing brands will often have quite a cohesive range, whereas brands that are just trying to sell you loads of cheap products that they bought off a wholesale site, they'll all be a bit just disjointed, their patterns will be all over the place. It won't have that aesthetic that you expect from a lot of clothing brands. And with the sunglasses, I definitely go for a brand that you know will be durable and that you've heard of and that maybe you've done a bit more research into. The cases where they do this with jewellery, I definitely wouldn't buy off anybody that asked me to be a brand ambassador, because you can almost guarantee that that jewellery is going to make your skin green. And that's from me. I used to be a jeweller. And if you are interested in the affiliate marketing kind of income route, then contact the brands that you already buy and that you already love. For instance, I've got an Amazon affiliate list. So anything that I buy from Amazon, I just put on the affiliate list, and then if other people want to buy the stuff that I've got, they can buy it and I get a little kickback. They get to find out what I'm wearing. And I haven't had to fork out any extra money in order to join that ambassador program. And if there are other brands that you're interested in, you can go on their website, and often right at the bottom they'll have like an apply to be an ambassador link. Usually these are a little bit more exclusive and you'll have to have a certain amount of followers in order to join them, but that does give them a bit more legitimacy. And often those kind of partnerships will come with free product and you won't have to fork out your own money to do them. If you have been caught by any of these brand ambassador style scams, don't feel shame about it. It's really easy to fall for, and in many cases it's kind of a grey area. It's a new way that they're trying to market and sell things to people, and unfortunately it seems to be working really well. I'm not sure if you've realised it yet, but the fitness industry is also a total scam. If you'd like to hear more, then watch this video next. If you're interested in any functional training programs, then click the link in the description. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!